Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope you guys have had a great and fantastic and wonderful week, but you're now at the weekend, so your problems are over. Hopefully. Unless you're Don, then you got a whole batch of problems to deal with. But
yeah, today's not the day.
Not today, huh? Well, let me introduce you as long as we're at it, Don. Welcome, Don Longbeard.
Hey!
The big toe. The big toe of the portal.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. I accept the accolades.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Money.
You're always a significant part of what we do here, so it's great to have you here, brother. Thanks for coming in. We've got an amazing show lined up for you guys tonight. The first hour, we are joined by special guests, BUCKS COUNTY Paranormal Investigations, and our good friend, Mr. Eric Mintel, who's been on the show before, is back with two of his crewmates, and we're going to get into that for the first hour, talk about their investigations and what they've been doing. They've been doing some really cool stuff, so I can't wait to get them on here, and we're going to talk to them now. So without further ado, let's bring on the BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations crew. How you doing, guys? Welcome to the show, Eric and everybody.
Yo, Brent, how you doing, man?
Thank you.
I'm doing great. It's great to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming on. You guys have been... as I stated, you've been doing some really exciting stuff lately, really cutting some miles on the tires there and getting out and checking out some of the premier paranormal events in our nation. And how's it been going? First of all, Eric, could you introduce everybody so we know who we got?
Absolutely, yeah. We got my good buddy Dominic Sattele right there. Mm-hmm. We've known each other since high school. Oh, nice. And we've got Ellen Collins, who is right below me, completely frozen in her picture, but she's there. I promise you, she's there.
She is there, and she's waving on my picture, so that means everybody's seeing you move, so that's good. We're not sure what's up with Eric's deal, but, you know. So
Ellen, Ellen's a big friend of ours, fan. She's our Wisconsin branch of BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So you're branching out as well. That's awesome. So I can't wait to hear all of the details of what's been going on, because of course I've caught your mentions here and there on Facebook, what you guys have been up to, and it's like, oh, wow. Oh, cool, you know. So let's talk about that a little bit. What have you guys been doing?
Well, what haven't we been doing? I mean, I just was saying to Dominic today, I said, we have been really, like you just said, traipsing all over the country, mm-hmm. and it's really incredible. And basically the bottom line is we're telling stories, and we're telling these stories of these incredible encounters people are having, and it's just been incredible for what we're doing now for our BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations. What we're doing is really, in essence, paranormal tourism. Mm-hmm. We're showing these people, where these great places are in the country, and these awesome venues that have always inevitably have either a ghost story or kind of some kind of cryptid, creature to go along with it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like recently, Dave Antonow, who is not with us tonight, but he and I were in Georgia in early September, and we investigated a haunted town in Fitzgerald, Georgia.
Wow.
And that town itself was incredible, because it was actually the first area in the South that really brought the North and South together. They brought in like 2,700 settlers from the North to come down and live and work in the South. So it was kind of like an area that was kind of healing the nation, right after the Civil War. So that was really cool. Like the history pieces I love of these things. And then they've had a lot of paranormal activity around, a certain theater there. There was a big, the Grand Theater, and this other arts center. And then of course, right after that, we went to Wisconsin, and we were delighted because Ellen sponsored our video. She's the executive producer of this video, and it is, the things that we encountered we're still trying to wrap our heads around. Meeting Lee's brother Fred, talking to witnesses out there, and I'm talking about the Beast of Bray Road.
Of course.
Unbelievable, just incredible stuff. I don't want to divulge too much, because we're going to be, and I know you guys are not going to be able to sleep tonight after this, but what I'm going to do is allude to what happened to us there, but the video will be coming before Halloween. I am feverishly working on editing it and getting it done. Okay. And I was working on it all day today, and I was looking at the footage again, listening to a lot of things, and I'm like, my God, we've got like some groundbreaking stuff here. Wow. And then Dominic and I were just down in the Pine Barrens on October 11th. Mm-hmm. So here's the time frame. So we went to Georgia on September 4th, 4th through the 11th. Then we went to Wisconsin the 2nd through the 4th of October, mm-hmm. and then we were in the Pine Barrens on the 11th. And then we were investigating reports of Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. Wow. So, and in that particular instance, I don't know, Dominic and I are, it seems like we're just kind of like magnets for these things to happen, because no sooner do we get there, all of a sudden we're getting activity. And the Bigfoot researcher he was like blown away, because they hadn't got that much activity, when they went down there. Wow. So just when we were just down there, and that video itself is going to be incredible. And there's a lot of scientific stuff to go along with that video, beside the paranormal stuff.
That's an interesting point, because I think there is something to that. I realize you said that kind of tongue in cheek, but I think there is something to that some people just bring a resonance with them that really draws out activity, especially in terms of spiritual and such. And I imagine it would be the same for cryptids, but definitely there's some people that experience a lot of things, and then other people can go through the same places and have absolutely nothing happen.
Well, Dominic can tell you, he is a medium. He's a spirit medium as well. Well, there you go. So when Dominic goes into an area, like we go into a haunted house or a haunted venue, restaurant, inn, or whatever, he'll kind of give us a preview of what we're in store for. We also have another team member, Karen Luchin, who is also a spirit medium that does the same thing. But when we were out in Wisconsin, right, Dom, this was completely out of your wheelhouse, man.
I'm a medium hunting a creature, and I've been on other expeditions. Oof. And just sitting there in the middle of that field and feeling energy and knowing we're being watched, it really did. It freaked me out of my wheelhouse. I looked at Eric and I said, "What did you get me into, Mintel?"
What did you get me into? Yeah. Sorry, Dom, your voice is coming and going through that, so unfortunately it wasn't as smooth. But yeah, I think we all understood what you said there. What did you get me into?
Yeah, he always says that. What did you drag me into, Mintel?
No, that's incredible. I as I was talking before the show, we did have the pleasure of interviewing Linda Godfrey. Wow. I'm stroked out there for a second. Linda Godfrey and Lee Hemphill as well. And some of the stories they told us were really incredible. And it really kind of baffles you, because you try to conceptualize these things. What are they? And you come up with something in your head, but then you start seeing the things they've experienced, and it doesn't fit right. And it's like there's the square piece and the round hole kind of thing. It's like, well, what the hell is it? Yeah?
Yeah, big time. And but Lee was an incredible guy, though. We met him, and I had seen Lee on Paranormal Declassified on the Travel Channel. Mm-hmm. And this was last year. This was last December, or maybe it's November. And I had said to myself, man, this guy looks like he's pretty approachable. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just try to give him a call, And so I found a website. He had a website, and I gave him a call, talked to him that night, and we stayed on the phone for a good hour. He sent me a whole bunch of pictures of prints and tracks and, trail cam pictures and just unbelievable stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and then we were just talking about Linda Ellen and I. She's been researching the Beast of Bray Road for years, and Bigfoot and all these different cryptids, and so we had been talking about doing a video, and we were trying to figure out how we could do this. And then, like just back in, I guess maybe June or July, Ellen said, "Look, let's just do this, and I'll take care of it." So that's how we were able to do it. So it was phenomenal, and just the investigation itself was not only, it was just fun. It was a fun investigation. Sure. But we got so many. I didn't realize how popular and this Beast of Bray Road story is with people, and how many people have seen it. I mean, we went to a restaurant before we went to Lee's that night, we went to get something to eat because we were, all days of talking to people and investigating, we get a little hangry. So I was dealing with the beast of Dominic Sattele because he needed to eat.
Sure.
But but we went to this restaurant and we had our BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations shirts on here. Courtesy of Timothy Wayne Williams, these great artwork, and a lot of people were coming up to us. They knew we were in the area to do this video. And then we asked them about and then they were telling us their stories. I mean, we didn't even have to ask them. They were just coming up telling us stories. So I was able to get some people on video about that. And it was really fascinating. The whole experience was incredible.
It sounds incredible. Now, I got to ask you guys, and I guess, Ellen, this is a good question for you, but being in that area, is there a palpable energy to it? I mean, when you're there, do you know you're there before you even see a road sign? Is it one of those situations, or is it just?
Really, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it really is. The first time I traveled down Bray Road, you had this very heavy, eerie sense about it. You're traveling down a road, but you expect something to come out of the corn or, see something on the side of the road. But you feel this energy like there's something other than you going down the road, and when you get out of your vehicle and you actually get onto the property, wow, it hits you so hard. You can't fathom it all in a couple of hours. It just hits you very hard, and you just have to walk around for a while and say, what is this that I'm feeling? But it's something, and it's you just can't put your finger on it, but it is a heavy feeling and it's an eerie feeling. Yeah. Like you're being touched,
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And Dom, I imagine being a sensitive, that must have been a big weight on you, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely it was. Most definitely.
Yeah, that's intense. Very intense. I wish your audio was better tonight, Dom. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but it's like a wavering wave, and so we'll just do our best to work with it as we can. But Eric, you obviously have. I mean, this is your wheelhouse. This is the paranormal's your wheelhouse. What was it like to be there compared to just hearing about it or reading about it?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Just to be on site was like unbelievable. First of all, we met Lee, phenomenal guy. Is there traffic there, Don? I don't know.
I apologize. Nope. Is the speaker better?
Wonderful.
That's much better.
Yep.
There.
Okay. Good.
Good deal. So being on site was phenomenal. We met Lee's brother Fred, who was a really another nice guy. I mean, everybody we met out there was phenomenal. But I remember what Fred said when we interviewed him, and Lee's brother Fred was a complete skeptic, absolute skeptic, but he had his own sighting, and it turned him into a believer. And Fred said, "This place changes at night," and boy, was he not! He was not kidding, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one thing we can say, it was overcast. It was supposed to rain that night. And when we got out there to start the investigation at night, the skies were crystal clear. You could see every star, everything. But then later on that night, when we went back to the hotel, what happened? We lost power in the whole town.
The whole town lost power that night. That was another thing. There's been a lot of different things there, Brent. Like there's been a lot of electronic disturbances. We experienced that. Ellen's son Scott was there, and he actually got incredible drone footage for us. He was working our camera. He brought some GoPros, and down in the field, there's always been, and even Lee will say that there's always his trail cams will act up every so often in this particular area. It happened to us. And I was even looking at some of the footage that some of the wireless mics that I had were cutting out in an area where they really shouldn't have been cutting out because we were right next to each other. But his GoPro had a hard time connecting. I will say this though, we did bait the area with steak bones earlier in the day, and I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was probably a bad idea. So without saying too much about it, so I want to kind of go back a little bit. Being out there was just a great experience, and I mean, Lee was so forthcoming with all the pictures that he's taken, his theories, and he's actually, he's a retired math teacher. Yeah. He's a farmer. He's a hay farmer, and he's always been a farmer, but his vocation was a math teacher. Yeah. Complete skeptic. He had said to me, if you would have said to me when I bought this farm in 2013 that there was a werewolf running around here, I would have said you're crazy. Yeah. But he absolutely had a sighting. He's seen it. He's got evidence. He's got refutable evidence there. I mean, it's there. Mm-hmm. And so he's a believer. I mean, and what we got, and we captured it all on video. Good.
Okay. Now,
yeah. and the one thing, not to interrupt, but the one thing, Lee, being that he was a teacher, he used a scientific method, that everybody learns, and just to make sure that it wasn't an anomaly, to make sure that the things that were happening were consistent. And he has that evidence, like you said, Eric, and everything he has scientifically, you do something and it happens again and it's repetitive and it doesn't change. There's a reason why.
Right. The thing is, here's this one thing that Lee told us, and we could not believe this, but it was true. He said that he had put, 17 roadkill deer down in that area. All but one remained. They all were taken. But the one deer that he had, and this happened a couple of times, the one deer that he had down there in this particular area where we were, the deer was in one section one day. The next, maybe, I don't know, was it the next day or a couple of days later or something like that? Mm-hmm. He said the deer was in another area, and now there's tall grass. There's tall grass by this area. Mm. So if he said the deer was taken and put in the tall grass, now the tall grass in front of where the deer was eventually laid down was not disturbed. So it's saying that something's physically picking it up and putting it over into this tall grass, to come back to later. If it was something like, if it was coyotes, they'd have to drag it over there. Sure. And that grass would be disturbed, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But nothing was disturbed. It was just like someone placed it down there. Wow. And you're talking about 150-pound deer.
Sure. Right. Yeah, those Wisconsin corn-fed deer aren't small. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that was fascinating to learn that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And they're as baffled as anybody is about it. So they don't have, the definitive answers either. But, I've talked to many witnesses, and I talked to another witness that Donna Fink, she runs the another paranormal group out there, mm-hmm. the East of Bray Road on Facebook. She gave me a witness to talk to, and I talked to him when we came back the couple of days later. And he told me this story, and basically, and the sounds and things like that. It's kind of like the same things that we heard. And so it's just fascinating story.
It is. I'm wondering, and I don't know if you guys dug into this at all, or is there any reports of it? And Ellen, this would probably be more in your wheelhouse, but do they ever have missing people, kind of like the missing 411 thing, where suddenly people are just gone? Does that come up in that area? And is there a feeling that maybe the Beast of Bray Road could be behind that?
Well, funny you should mention that, because I am listening to one of the books by Linda Godfrey called Werewolf. Mm-hmm. And in it, she has a story of a family 25 years ago who were out, a daughter and a dad who were out camping, and something happened to them. So the camper was left alone for quite a long time. Any fresh meat or anything like that inside the camper was spoiled, but the canned goods were still viable. Mm-hmm. And so this, how they came upon this was there was an an accident on the road. It was a father and a son, and the father was taken apparently by the Beast of Bray Road just right out of his car, pulled right out of the car. And so the boy, who was 10 years old, ran away into the woods. And he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know what was happening, but he came upon this campsite. And he found this empty camper, and he also found a journal from the girl who was in this camper. And she kind of wrote down everything that was happening, to them, why her dad didn't, he went out to the woods to go forage for some stuff, and he never came back. She went out to look for him. And the whole story goes around this family, this farm family, whose son, they believe, was afflicted by this Beast of Bray Road, or is turned into a werewolf, something like that. So this kid finds this family, and they take him in, and all they do is feed this kid, feed this kid, feed this kid, feed this kid, so they're fattening him up for something. And the neighbor knows what's going on, and he kidnaps the kid. And he says, I'm not trying to kill you, I'm trying to save you. And he goes through this whole thing. Eventually the neighbor does get killed, but the Beast of Bray Road, or a werewolf type creature, chases this kid down to another farmer, kills another farmer, and eventually they don't catch the beast, but the kid makes it back to the highway and is rescued by the police. But it's quite a phenomenal story, where it involves like 4 different families, but the Laura, whose name was changed to protect the parties, her dad was never found. And the young boy, who was 10 at the time, his dad was never found. He was dragged away out of the car. And these people who they thought their son was the Beast of Bray Road, they were arrested because they actually killed the neighbor who was trying to save the kid. And so it's just quite an entangled story, but very believable, because these people, it was a true account that happened about 25 years ago in that area. And so whenever somebody went down Bray Road, and it wasn't a car accident per se, it was they hit the Beast of Bray Road. Well, it got up and took its revenge out on whoever was in the driver's seat and just pulled them out of the car. Sure. And so it's a fascinating story. And,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a very amazing story. But so there are quite a few stories where people have gone missing. And it's people who are coming home late at night who happen to, they think they've hit something. So then they get out of their vehicle, and that's it for them. They get dragged off into the corn, or something happens, and then they just find the vehicle.
Wow, that's incredible. I've never heard of something. I haven't heard those stories before. I've heard the encounters, where they ran behind the car, or they've been hit. They got hit by they hit the Beast of Bray Road, or whatever that may be, however that may manifest. But I've never heard where there's actually been people missing and assumed victims of the beast.
Right.
Yeah, and it
was amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It's very, very creepy to listen to, because, she says it's real, Sure. And those were stories that happened over 25 years ago. And this was probably in the 90s, right, when she was reporting all of this. So it was 25 years before that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Linda Godfrey did so much work on this. I mean, she really opened up the whole story, and brought this to life.
Sure.
That had really been there. I guess the story's been around since the 30s.
Oh,
right.
But, okay. I mean, maybe even more, maybe even before that. So, you're getting all these incredible stories, and what do? We go right into the hornets. We're right there. But we that's what we do. We go through hell and high water to get these stories and get the answers. But but I got to tell you, guys. I mean, I got to tell you, that night we were really. I felt like, look, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because what we were experiencing and what was coming toward us.
Right.
Oof.
I said, look, we got to get out of here. And I said, the safety of this team is way more important than any investigation. So that was that was one of the first times I really felt that fear factor. When I was a kid, I had gotten attacked by 2 Dobermans when I was in my teens. And so that brought that, when this thing happened, it brought that like fear factor back, you know.
Okay, hold that thought.
We got to get out of here.
And we're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to a break, and we will return with the BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations team. We'll be right back. Don't go away. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are into the second half hour of our show. Kind of got noisy, didn't it? There it goes. We're into the second half hour of our show, and we are back at it here. And I am joined tonight. Don had to leave, guys, so it's just you and me now. But
all right.
I hope you can deal with that.
How dare Don leave?
Yeah.
How can he do
We
this?
scared him away.
I
Did
know.
we scare him?
Something about the Beast of Bray Road, and Don hits the street. That's it.
Don hits the road.
No, he's got some issues to take care of, and it's just stuff that happens. But we are going through, ladies and gentlemen, in case you might be just joining us, we are joined tonight by BUCKS COUNTY Paranormal Investigations, and we've been talking about their trip to Wisconsin to investigate the Beast of Bray Road, and it's been an incredible discussion. I think the thing that surprised me the most learning about that, and as I said, talking to Lee, myself, and Linda, was the strange things that doesn't fall into the normal categories. Like I was, when I've ever heard of the Beast of Bray Road, I was like, well, this is some kind of physical creature. And then you start to hear the stories, and it doesn't match up. I mean, it seems like it obviously is, but kind of like the Dogman in other parts of the country. It's like, it's there, but sometimes it's not quite there. And all of the discrepancies that kind of make it like, what the hell are we dealing with? And I didn't mean to have to cut you off for the break, because I was very interested in what you were having to say there.
Not at all.
But please continue.
Well, like you said, you're not sure it's there and it's not there. And, Lee has evidence. I mean, when we first got there, we went back to where most of the sightings had happened, and we found tracks, took pictures of it, and showed them to Fred and Lee, and they matched exactly what they were getting. And it's definitely a bipedal or bipedal animal or thing. It's walks on two legs. It's not on all fours, and it just blows your mind to just sit there and think about it.
Right.
You're talking about it being there and not being there. And you guys will remember this too. Ellen's son, Scott, he has a drone company, FPV, Phantom Flight FPV, a great company. And he took his drone up during the day and, kind of getting the lay of the land. He wanted to see where we were going to go. So he put the drone up, and he was like, we disappeared. We were there in the field 1 minute and then gone.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Something happened in that area down there, or something's going on in that area. Now, one of the theories was maybe this is a portal.
Right.
Could be a portal. Could it be, and people have said this too, could it be like another Skinwalker Ranch type thing?
Oh, sure.
And what we experience, it kind of gives it, I would say it's kind of leaning in that direction. Now, me to say that, I kind of look at things, when I go into a lot of these things, Brent, you'll know, and these guys know, I go in sort of like with a skeptical mind and say, look, what is really going on here? And let's get the science behind it before we say, hey, there is really something here. Well, that theory was blown out of the water that night that we were investigating. And there is definitely something there, and there's no denying it. There is something there. Whereas with Bigfoot, you're kind of like, well, people are seeing it, then it's not there. It's really there. But this thing is actually there. And that's the scary part. And that's the incredible evidence that we found anyway. And going back to that, I mean, Linda Godfrey's research, and then with all of what Lee's been doing, 17 trail cams later, and getting all of this incredible footage down there. But his trail cams are acting up too. So he's getting the same kind of weird electrical disturbances that we were getting. And Brent, here's the unbelievable part of this whole thing. So not only did the town of Elkhorn lose power that night of the investigation, Lee's trail cam stopped working at 5 o'clock that night that we were doing the investigation. It stopped at 5 o'clock. It didn't take another picture until 7 o'clock the next morning, which means we didn't get any pictures of anything by the area that we had baited. Scott's
didn't get any pictures of us.
He didn't get anything of us either.
Wow.
So we weren't even there. I mean, we were not on the trail cam. Scott didn't get anything on his GoPro because that wasn't recording. He couldn't get the link.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing. And then, so the next morning we had breakfast with Lee before we headed out to the airport, and a great little diner, and Lee came over. And then later on at the airport, Lee sends me a text. He had gone down to the area to see if the bones were still there. Gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's creepy. I mean, just to know that you were in close proximity enough to see fresh tracks. To know that you were there, and this, whatever this is, was there as well, and probably acutely aware of you being there. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've never seen Dominic and I. We've known each other for years. We used to practice martial arts together. We know we've got a pretty calm mindset when it comes to stuff like that. I never saw him react like he did, and that's a real feeling there when this happened. And for all of us, I mean, Ellen was already beaten feet out of there, so she was,
she locked herself in the truck.
She dove into the truck,
But you got to give it up to Scott, because he stood there the whole time filming.
Oh my God!
And he was shaking.
Scott was like a rock. And then at the end of the night, I said to Scott, I said, "Did you?" He experienced it too. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it sent chills down my spine." But he was there. He just was like, he got the footage. But it was just one of these great investigations, and we were blown away. Wow. So I will have this video together and done before Halloween. We're going to do a premiere probably that Saturday, October 30th. So we're probably going to do something on Facebook, and then it'll be on our TV shows. And what we're doing with these videos, I have 2 TV shows that you're aware of. It's they're on Saturday night through Princeton Television. It's BUCKS COUNTY Paranormal Investigations, and then they're also on Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, and then Roku, Apple TV. So any of the streaming services, you could, if you type in add Princeton Television to your device, you'll be able to see the shows. And then we just got picked up in my area, the Lehigh Valley, on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock, and that's that's about another 66,000 homes. Nice. This Thursday, this Thursday, I guess the 29th, we're going to be on out of Philadelphia area and into Delaware, and pretty much most of the East Coast is WHYY PBS. And they just did they followed us on an investigation of a local restaurant, literally that's right down the street from me, that we did, called the Plumsteadville Inn, and great stuff. So things have been going great. I mean, things have been blowing up in a good way, right? Because I think it's the way we're presenting it. Like you do a phenomenal job with this program, and you're telling incredible stories. So it's always in the way that you're presenting the material. That's going to be compelling. You get people talking about it. It's exciting, and it's fun. We had a lot of humor. We had this really serious encounter, but we have to add. We have to keep it, amongst ourselves, a little lighthearted, because you could really be scarred for life, when it comes to this kind of stuff, and and we could have really been in harm's way that night, which we were. We really were. Yeah. We were very very naive to the fact. Let's just put it that way. Very unprepared.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see it, and please let us know, because I'll be happy to post where it's available on our social media, and of course on the shows as well, because that'll be phenomenal. Now, you guys, we have about 15 minutes left, roughly. I would love to hear about the Pine Barrens and how that all went as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would love to. Eric Spinner is another guy that I don't know if you've talked to him or not, but he's a great researcher, Bigfoot researcher in New Jersey.
Okay.
And he's got incredible evidence. He's got hair samples, footprints, and he's basically got sightings of juvenile Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. in this one particular area of the Pine Barrens. So last year I went down and met with Eric, and then we met with the co-founder of Weird New Jersey magazine, Mark Moran, and we went down to the Pine Barrens and stoked out the area, looked around, and kind of just talked about it. And then we needed to go back and do a follow-up. Well, October 11th, we did the follow-up, and I'm glad we took Dominic's truck that night, because there's no way in my Toyota that we'd be able to get through these huge divots of like puddles and ponds and stuff like that.
It was soft sugar sand in some spots. It was intense.
It was intense.
And it was 5 miles in.
Oh dear.
So
wow,
we were in there.
5 miles into it. So we were in 5 miles in, by truck, and then about 350 feet, 400 feet into the woods, we set up a base camp, and we're basically talking with Eric about, hey, and he had another researcher with him that night, Art Mack. He was with him, and Eric's wife was with him as well, and Eric's daughter was helping film. So we're sitting there, and Dominic's talking to Art, and I looked at Eric, and as he's talking to Art and trying to get his, info about how he researches, we heard, I'll be damned if we didn't hear what you always hear people, doing on television. We hear whoop, we hear this whoop, and we were like, okay. And I said to Eric, I said, did you hear that? So his wife goes and calls back to it. It answers her back.
Yikes.
Not once, but like 5 times.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And so this was unbelievable. So we're sitting there like, are you kidding me? And it was not an echo either, because the Barrens could be pretty big there, but it's dense. So there's no way you're going to get, it's because there's so many trees there.
Right.
You're not going to get any kind of, and that's what I thought it was, maybe an echo. It was her echoing, and then you hear her echo again. But I knew that theory was gone because the thing made the sound before she even did it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So,
and it was pretty close to us. I mean, it was within, a couple hundred yards to where we were. We're in an area that Eric Spinner calls the bowl, and basically it's like an indent, and there's mounds all around. So you're in like this sand bowl with berms up around you that they can look down upon you. And when we were there, we heard this whoop, and Eric's wife is calling back to it. And as this is going on, I looked at Eric Mintel, and I was like, there's something behind us. And you got that on video, and we got it on the sound, and
you could hear the rustle. You could hear the rustling behind us.
Wow.
And Eric had these high-powered microphones, so you can hear the whoop through. Here's the other thing, Brent. We had I was using these brand new wireless mics now. They're called by Cinco. Great mics. If you ever get a chance to go out in the field and you're wanting to do interviews, these things are awesome.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And they're under $100 for like 2. You get 3. You get 2 mics, 2 lobs, and a receiver.
Okay. So,
oh my God! So we're out there. It picked up the sound on these lavaliers. That's how intense the sound was. Same thing, So when we were there, Dominic's saying it's behind me, and you could hear the rustling behind us. And so Eric has these high-powered speakers, and that even gave us more validation that something was behind us as well. So then we met with so during the night, when we heard this, you could hear it going away. It was going away from us as it was walking through. But what we think was the rustling was the mother or something coming to get it, because it probably knew that we were there.
Okay.
And it just wanted to, get it out of the way, and then it was gone, and we just didn't hear it anymore. We did some tree knocks, nothing came back. But all of this will be in the video too. I'm going to be, editing that as well. But when people hear what we heard, it's pretty amazing. I mean, not even like, on the Travel Channel, what is the Expedition Bigfoot got what we got. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's kind of the unnerving part, though, right? So if you get a whoop and you whoop back and it answers you back, it's like at that point you're kind of engaged in something here with something we don't really understand. And what would you have done if it would just started breaking through the brush at you?
Well, here's the other thing. Like Dom just said, we were in an area, again, same thing like in Wisconsin. We were in an area that we were like, we could have been ambushed.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were in this area that we had no idea what was around us. And I mean, it was pitch black. We had night vision on, but then I showed the audience that, on the video, look, when we shut the lights off, this is what it looks like. And it was completely pitch black.
Wow.
Now, we were in a group, and I felt safer there than I did in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, right, we all did. We felt that. But it was amazing. And then just to get that evidence, I mean, again, and we weren't even there 15 minutes, and we started getting that evidence. We were out there I guess we stayed out there about a couple hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and then we had to get back home. But incredible. So Eric went back a couple of days later. They did another camp out. He said they got whistles. They got a tree knockover. They got a tree that knocked over.
Oh.
And they had whistles and tree knocks.
Wow. Yeah, so there's activity there. When you said the Pine Barrens, I was thinking, oh, must be looking for the Jersey Devil, but then you said Bigfoot. And I've heard of there being a lot of activity in the Pine Barrens, and I often wonder if, a lot of the reports of the Jersey Devil aren't just misidentified Bigfoot.
That's what we thought. That's what I had always thought. Mm-hmm. And, not to offend anybody in New Jersey about the Jersey Devil, because there is something there as well. Sure. People are seeing a winged kind of creature there. Yeah. So we're not discounting that, but I always thought the same thing. I thought maybe there is a misidentification of people seeing, the Jersey Devil, but it's actually maybe a Bigfoot type creature. So just for what we experienced and just some of the stories that people are telling too, it just kind of like is leaning into that. The other thing we've been noticing too is a trend of the Bigfoot UFO connection. I know we're running out of time, but that's another story in itself, where there's been a lot of connections with, and especially on a couple of photos that we saw of Lee's when we were in Wisconsin, leads us to believe there's more of a connection there than we thought before.
Well, it would very well go a long way to explain some of the strangeness, the weird phenomena that doesn't fall into a physical being, and it doesn't really fall into a completely spiritual being. So it's something in between. And I've often noticed that in a lot of cases there seems to be this bleed through in the paranormal, where it's like sometimes abductions scenarios can sound an awful lot like hauntings, and there's a lot of bleed through both ways. And then the Bigfoot, the phasing, the dog man, and there just seems to be this other quality to this stuff that we're missing, and being anchored in our 3D reality or whatever. But I found that compelling too. I've certainly heard of the correlation between UFOs and Bigfoot, but I've never known what to do with that for sure.
That's why we're telling the stories and research. That's the thing. That's the biggest mystery, is like, what is it all about? And and that's why we love doing what we do, because it's just like, getting out in the field and trying to find these answers, and then meeting people that have had these experiences is incredible. I mean, and they're so sincere too. Right. You can, we're pretty good at deciphering the BS from truth, and these are very, very sincere, and have been frightened by these occurrences. So you have to kind of take that and almost treat that very carefully.
Sure. So we got about 6 minutes left. What's next for Bucks County Paranormal Investigations?
Well, follow up on Bray Road next year for sure, right, Ellen?
Right, we're going to be there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to try to get a town hall together. We're going to do some really good stuff there. And Ellen is, getting some really great research done. She's doing a lot of really great stuff. And then we've got, Actually, I've got 4 videos now coming out before Halloween, so I'm doing double duty. But now, as a jazz musician, I'm also, full-time jazz musician as well. So November, December, we'll be doing a lot of holiday concerts, but we're still doing paranormal. We're still doing videos.
Good.
All through the pandemic, we were thriving doing videos, and just telling the stories because, when places finally would open up, we figured, look, let's do something that's going to draw people to the areas. And it's been great. We've been helping drive people to these wonderful venues that want to experience these experiences, whether it's ghosts or Bigfoot or whatever.
Absolutely. And I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dom, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Eric and I are actually going to go back on Halloween down to Hansel Road, and we're gonna go into a different area that there's been other stuff that has been seen. They have strange lights, they have UFO sightings, and there's ghosts there as well. So we're going back there again for, I think it's our 3rd time now. And we're going to check out a different area of that park where everything has been seen.
Yeah, if your listeners get a chance to check it out online, it's Hansel Road in Buckingham, Pennsylvania. And it's been, it's weird lights in the trees have been seen. The last time we were there, we actually caught lights coming down from the treetops. Ooh. And what's been reported, and there was no, this is at night. I mean, it was pitch black. There's no other light sources around. We thought maybe there was somebody in the woods or something. Nobody there. And so, our area, Brent, has a lot of ties to history. We've got Washington across the Delaware, right down the street from us. We've got a lot of ties to the Underground Railroad. There's a lot of buildings here that have underground tunnels. So there's a lot of residual energies here, a lot of residual hauntings of people that, just in history itself, this area was history. And in general, Washington and Lafayette, they were all throughout Bucks County. And some of the stories that we're telling and we're getting from people are just incredible. And that's why we keep telling them, and we love it. We love telling the stories.
Well, let people know how to stay in touch with Bucks County Paranormal, if you would, please.
Absolutely. They could find us on Facebook at Bucks County Paranormal Investigations, and on YouTube, Bucks County Paranormal Investigations. We have a YouTube channel, a lot of videos. We're on Instagram TV. I usually put some videos on there as well. And we post all the time. We're posting stuff. We're very, very active social media. So we post all the time. If people can add Princeton Television to their device for their Amazon Fire TV, they could see us every Saturday night on any of their Amazon Fire TV or Roku, Apple TV, any streaming service. And we're always doing something new. We've always got something going on.
Absolutely, you do, and I gotta take some notes from you because I do appreciate how active you are on social media. It's something I'm working on all the time, but I haven't quite.
You do a great job. I think the main thing is why we're so active too is because we're always doing something.
Yeah.
You always have great guests coming on, so these are always compelling people that are telling stories as well. So you're connecting with people on so many different levels, and same thing with us. I'm not only a jazz musician, but I also investigate the paranormal. And people kind of associated me just as the jazz musician for years, but sure. I've always loved the paranormal. So that's why in 2016, I started Bucks County Paranormal Investigations, and it's just been blossoming ever since. So it's been great, and having Don and Ellen and Scott and Dave Antonell, and we're also working with Bill Barrens from Ancient Aliens and UFO Hunters. So he's been in a couple of our videos as well. So we're assembling an incredible team here.
You really are, and you guys are doing some remarkable stuff, and I'm really thankful that you guys made the time to come on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you again, Eric, and to meet you, Dom and Ellen. That's been wonderful. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks, Brent. It's our pleasure, Brent.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Come back after the next ones because we got to talk again. This is really cool.
Definitely, man. We'll have a lot more to talk about because then we can divulge a little bit more than what we did now. So no more teasers.
That's all right. Teasers are fun, but to come back with the full length video next time.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we want to talk about it because we want to find out if your listeners can tell us what the hell it is.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our hour break here in just a couple seconds, and then we'll be right back at it with another full hour of the Paranormal Portal. So I hope you'll stick around. I hope you didn't just come for the guests, and now you're going to ditch me. So, but we got a lot
no,
more
you
show.
Don't be Don.
Don't don me.
Don, where did you go?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Yep, click off.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken
A nightmare from which they cannot wake. I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Sattele and Ellen is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Wow. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are into hour number 2 here on the Paranormal Portal. Thank you all for being with me. And I hope we got a good last hour lined up. I got a few things pulled up. I really, again, special thanks to BUCKS County Paranormal Investigations for coming on for that hour and talking about their work and what they're doing. I just love talking to people, and I love hearing about those kind of things. And, of course, Eric has been a longtime friend now, and it's really cool to have him on. And it was good to meet Dom and Ellen as well and hear about their adventures. I can't wait to see the video now, though. That's the problem is. No, I just want to see it. I just want to see it. No, I was one of those kids that always peeking into presents when I was a kid. I was like, I was good. I was really good at like stealth peeling that tape and getting a peek in there and rewrapping. I was pretty good. And that's kind of carried into my adult life. I'm not a patient man. So anyway, we are back at it here. As always, the phone lines are open if anybody wants to call in and share something paranormal of their very own. I'd love to hear from you. The number is 720-923-0500. And it feels like I'm starting the show, but we're actually in the last stretch of it. So if you can believe that. But anyway, let's see. Oh, and a special thanks to all you guys. That's nice. I appreciate the compliments regarding those of you on YouTube that were listening to my music. Yeah, I use the songs. Just full disclosure, it wasn't an ego thing. It was never an ego thing. Like, well, I can't wait to put my own music out there. It was because when I first started the shows, I used to play songs that I liked. But then YouTube started hating me for using copyrighted music. And I was like, oh, what do you do? Well, I knew I could use my music, and so that's how it ended up on the portal. That's why it's part of the streams now. And I appreciate the kind, wonderful feedback about that, because that's really cool. I don't know. I like the music, but it's hard to know if everyone else is going to receive it as well. But 99% of the time, you guys have all been wonderful about it. Every once in a while, I get that 1%. It's like, God, turn that crap off. But then again, that's just life, isn't it? Not everybody likes everything. Nobody will ever like all the things. I don't even know if that's making sense. But in my head, it made sense. I got an article that I pulled up here from the Occult Museum that I thought we'd start out with. I don't know how long it'll take. But I thought this was interesting because we've done things like nursing, and we've done things like police and their experiences with the paranormal. And I found this one. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I don't recall us ever doing one like this before. But this is from the occultmuseum.com. And 14 firefighters share their scariest paranormal encounters. Yeah, so let's see what they've had happen. Number 1 on this list, Guardian Angel. Our firehouse isn't haunted, at least not on a regular basis, but one of our engines is. 2 examples I have personally seen and experienced are, first, we're responding to a call in a dark, secluded industrial area one night when the engine suddenly sputtered, stalled, and coasted to a stop right in front of a railroad crossing with no gates. Just as we stopped, a freight train came through. The engine started right up and ran fine after the train had passed. The second example, one blazing hot summer afternoon, when we were called to a highway construction site for a burning shanty. We pulled up and began advancing the hand line when it suddenly seemed like the hose became tangled up in the hose bed. We went back to the engine to check, and just then the shanty blew up into thousands of tiny pieces. There were no tangles in the hose, and it wasn't caught or hung up anywhere. Well, that's just really, you guys have got pretty active guardian angels on your side there. No question. Wow. Or the engine, like I said, the engine could be. I don't know. We've talked. Actually, the podcast that I recorded for this week has to do with haunted dolls. And, in there I talked about there can be anything that has some kind of energetic attachment. And certainly, why not a fire engine? Maybe it's one of their fallen brothers or brethren or whatever is sticking around and making sure the team is okay. I think that's pretty beautiful. But anyway, number 2, Mr. Jones. And me. Sorry. Our fire department is haunted by a man named Mr. Jones. The story dates back many years before we built a new station. Mr. Jones died at the old firehouse from a heart attack after battling a house fire. A chief told me a story once. I went to the restroom, which was off of the hallway, and on my way in, I sat my brand new pack of cigarettes on the file cabinet outside of the doorway. When I came out, the cigarettes were lined up end to end down the hallway. Oh, that's a little creepy. Another firefighter about a year later also had a Mr. Jones experience. He and another guy were watching television one night when the clock above the TV flew off the wall, landed in the center of the room, spun around a few times, and then landed on a bookshelf. What? Wow. That's a hell of a thrill. All of the haunted firehouse stories never really had me believing until Mr. Jones gave me a story of my own. I had this thing about open shower curtains, and I notice when they are open, and I have to close them. Well, I walked into the restroom to clean it, but I forgot a trash bag. Forgot a trash bag. Okay, the shower curtain was open. When I walked back in about 30 seconds later, the curtain was closed, and that was the only story that is personal. Other than that, we have doors that open and close by themselves, lights that go on and off, stuff like that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, good for you. This one's called Jesus Christ. I don't know what the context of this is, but let's see. About 7 or 8 years ago, we arrived at a townhouse with heavy fire from the first floor on one side. After making entry, locating the fire in the kitchen, and extinguishing, we set about taking out a few windows for ventilation. After the smoke had risen, we noticed that the living area to the rear of the kitchen, which was on the right-hand side just as we entered, had taken significant smoke and heat damage. On the wall was a picture of Jesus Christ, and it was the only object in the room that appeared untouched. Even the wall behind the picture was smoke-stained and blistered. There was evidence of 2 streams of water that had trickled down from the lower corners of the picture to a point in the middle of the wall where they met and continued down to the floor. The odd thing was that the line had been pulled through this room and was flowing into the kitchen to push out the fire in the front through a large vented window. No water had been flowing in the room, and the steam produced had been pushed out the window. Even the FM, I don't know, fire marshal, I guess, okay, was amazed, and we haven't seen anything like it since. It kind of makes one wonder. Well, you definitely got to hang on to that picture because that's a blessed picture for sure. Number 4 is Steve. We had a protector. We had a member, Steve, that was killed in the line of duty during a helicopter operation. Ever since he died, members swear they can hear him in the building at night. Doors close, open, etc., without explanation. And then one night, we figured out why he was there. Firefighter Uniform 1 of our members, who has been here about 15 years now, was on duty, and we have bulletproof vests that we keep on the units, but in a back compartment. And we heard that compartment open and close. We went out into the bay and looked at it, and for some reason, he took the vest out and put it in the front seat. He'd never done that before. The next thing you know, he's toned out to a sick call after his arrival was deemed a shooting. Nothing happened to him, but the point was made. Several such incidents have occurred whenever something big is about to happen, a unit door opens and shuts or a bay door opens, etc. We always know. So Steve's making sure people are on the ball. That's cool. Number 5, the Phantom Handprint. One of my favorite Chicago ghost stories, although one that is not active today, has to be the story of the Phantom Handprint that appeared at the old fire station for Engine Company 107. On April 18th, 1924, a firefighter named Frank Levy was washing a window at the fire station, and for some reason, he paused in his work, his hand resting against the pane of glass. And he told a friend who was standing nearby that he had the strangest feeling he was going to die that day. Just then, the station received an alarm call, and the firefighters were sent to a fire that had broken out at Curon Hall, an office building in Chicago. While fighting the fire, a wall collapsed and killed 8 of the firemen. Frank Levy was one of those killed. The next day, one of the firemen noticed something strange about that window that Frank had been washing the day before. There seemed to be an unusual stain on the glass, and it appeared to be the imprint of Frank's hand at the same spot where he had been leaning the day before. They tried everything they could, but they could find no way to erase the strange handprint. It seemed to be etched into the glass. An expert from Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company brought a special solution to the firehouse, guaranteed that it would remove the print, but it didn't work. Over the years, there were suggestions that the pane of glass to be removed, but many of the firemen argued, saying that it was not right to fool with the unknown, and besides that, it was a reminder, albeit a grim one, of their dead friend. And there was no doubt that the handprint belonged to Frank Levy. An official from the city had come down with a fingerprint comparison of the prints matched those of Frank's. For the next 20 years, the handprint defied all explanation and was a common attraction to visitors and other firemen from around the city. Finally, on the morning of April 18th, 1944, a careless paperboy tossed the morning edition at the firehouse and shattered the window where Frank's handprint had been. It happened exactly 20 years to the date of when Frank Levy died. Wow. Someone's calling? Well, let's figure out who's calling. Let's get to that. Someone's on the phone here. This is area code 248. You're on the air. Get to that. Someone's on the phone here. This is area code 248.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
This is good. This is Stardust Moon.
Hi, Stardust Moon.
I have a... I'm good.
Could you turn down your computer, maybe?
Oh. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Well,
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I have a story from when I was a little girl, kind of spooky.
Well, by all means.
But it was all right.
Yeah, share it with us. We'd love to hear it.
Okay. I was about 3 years old, and I was down in my little playhouse, which was like, we had a dirt basement and, the 2 big storage rooms. And one storage room was like a store because my parents grew up in the Depression days.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And the other storeroom was my little playhouse where I'd play when my grandma was doing laundry downstairs. We had a wringer washer.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyways, one day I was just down there playing in my little playhouse, and I knew that the bench that was higher than me there was a lot of old tools up there and stuff. I knew that was my grandpa's.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day I was playing down there, and I saw my grandpa. And he was really nice and kind of like explaining to me about, because I asked him about the tools and stuff, what was up there. And he said that they were his tools and yada, yada. And I mean, it was just a fully dressed, normal conversation. And then I went upstairs and I said I asked my grandma, I said, how come, does Grandpa live in the basement?
Uh-huh.
And she looked, I got, that look, this look I'd never really seen my grandma look like before, but I was 3, so, you're learning.
Sure.
And she said, she sat me down, she goes, come here and sit down on the bed. So I did, sat down on her bed, and she said, I want to tell you something, And she says, well, don't be scared or anything. Mm-hmm. She says, but, your grandpa, she said, he died when your mom was 7.
Wow.
And I said, well, then how come he's downstairs in the basement? She said, I don't know. Maybe, she says, he probably came to visit you.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I have, now everybody has passed away. I was an only child adopted, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I have pictures of him and her when they were like just married, and she's all cooed up in him, and he's tall, just like he was.
Oh, that's
when
really
I
cool.
saw him.
Wow.
And she never remarried because, she was waiting for him. Oh. And I know why, and he even showed me how to take, I don't know if it was a download or what, but it was him that taught me or showed me how to take the training wheels off my bike so I could finally ride it.
Wow. No.
And I'll never forget it. And whenever I say my prayers and stuff like that, I include him in it because I met him.
That's really cool.
Did
this all just happen in one meeting, or did you have discussions with him after that as well?
I would see him periodically, but then it seemed like after she told me all that, and I got a little bit older as I got older, those experiences would just they faded away.
Sure. Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, and that's pretty common.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I guess. But I'm just so glad I met him because I know why she fell in love with him.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And I've never been married or anything like that because that's like the man I've always been looking for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a tough measure to come up with, those old-fashioned guys.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's
tough act to follow there.
I guess absolutely, but I think it's a beautiful story.
Oh, thank you. So how are you doing?
Doing good, thank you. Just been really busy, but it's been a good night, and I just really had a lot of fun in the interview earlier, and now I'm just having fun hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, the interview was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they did a lot of great storytelling, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And I did, and I enjoy your music as well.
Oh,
I do.
Oh, thank you.
You have an awesome. I'm surprised you're not in the band or weren't in a band or anything like that.
I used to do bands like back in playing cover bands and stuff. I did all that stuff, but. Yeah, I always love writing music. I like writing music. To me, it's like a kind of therapy, a good way to process emotions. So that's what the music is. It's just my personal therapy.
I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get that. My grandmother, she taught. This is like my grandmother. She taught guitar.
Oh,
and I have a photo of her with her band, the Tropical Serenaders.
Oh, that's cute. That's
And
wonderful.
she was the band leader, and she was one of the first people who purchased an electric guitar.
Oh, cool. Wow. Okay.
And she's sitting there all proud with her guitar like plugged in, and you can see the cord, you know.
Sure.
And she's just sitting there all proud and everything with her like Tropical Serenader band. It's so cute.
That's really
One of
cool.
these days I'll take a picture and I'll try to send it to you.
Okay.
Because,
sounds good.
yeah. So, but she, you know what? She didn't teach me guitar, right?
Oh.
You know what I got? She taught me the auto harp.
Ooh, those are kind of cool, though. I like
Thank
those.
you very much.
I think those
That's
are cool
how you learn
instruments.
how to fight.
Yeah.
You hit somebody with that'll knock them out.
That'll change their mind in a hurry. Yep, absolutely. But thank you so much
Yeah,
for
but
calling in.
that'll get you seeing the probation officer really quick, too.
Yeah.
True story.
Assault with auto
But,
harp. Yeah.
okay, I will let you go so you can finish your show and tell your story.
All right. Well, thank you so much
But
for
I
sharing your
didn't
story.
tell you that.
I'm
But
glad you did.
You know, do you think you could make your phone number just a little bit bigger?
Well, and then
God darn it.
I got to do that. You're right. I'll put it on the to-do list.
Yeah, get that, because I'm like asking the people in the chat, what's his phone number?
We'll get that taken care of for next time, but thank you so much for calling in. It's great to hear from you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's really nice to, been fun talking to you too.
Okay.
And enjoy the rest of your show.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much. I hope you do as well. All right, good night.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.
Well, there you have it. That's cool. Yeah, I think there's something to that about little kids being able to tune into that so much, and then something happens just through the years. Maybe it's age, maybe it's life just gets busy, and we kind of tune out of that perfect state. Like children are in that perfect state, and I don't know, they just pick up everything. But us adults, we kind of miss a lot, I think. So whatever that is. But I think that's cool. She had that experience. That's really neat. Very cool. All right. We got through that one there. Okay. I can't read that title though. I don't know how to say this one. We got 3 minutes. I can read this one though. Number 6 on our list. You effed him off now. There was a fire about 6 to 7 years ago, and the call was weird from the start. The first due engine didn't want to start. It was out on a run about 20 minutes before. Well, they get there, the house was fully involved, and when they got there, the fire was burning in strange ways. At one point, flames were shooting out of a window and taking a 90-degree turn upward. The investigators' pictures show the face of the devil in the smoke and flames. I know it sounds like BS, but I have seen a few of these pics and have talked to some of the investigators, and they were saying that the basement was rocking. When they went back the next day, it looked as though nothing burned downstairs. The weirdest part of the fire was the 911 call. The dispatcher said the caller's wife was in the background screaming, "You effed him off now. Look, he's gone and burned the place down." These people were said to have been Satan worshippers. Everyone in the department is afraid to go on the road for calls. Incidentally, the name of the road is Angel Hill. Pretty weird. Well, but the legend goes that, of course, Lucifer was an angel, so maybe it's fit. Maybe it fits. Very, very weird though. I think, I don't know. Those are kind of tough because I do believe that there's dark supernatural forces. I'm not sure if I believe in a devil, but I think there's plenty of negative things out there that are very devilish. But I don't know if there's a one consciousness to all evil. I don't know that I believe that or not. I'm not sure what to think, but I think that sometimes you might get the wrong connection when you're messing with stuff that you don't understand. And I don't know what was going on in this house, but apparently somebody knew it was up, and it didn't go well. But anyway, folks, we're going to go to our last break of the night here in just a few moments. I don't believe that Paisley Wells is probably going to have a show tonight. I'm not sure, but we'll find out, I guess, when you go over there. But I don't think that that'll be happening. But we will be right back in just a couple of minutes, so don't go away. And we'll do the last half hour of our journey tonight here on the Paranormal Portal. So I hope you'll stick with me. We're almost there, but it goes fast. It's kind of a heartbreaker. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last home stretch of tonight's show. I think everything is fine, so don't worry about Paisley. I see some of you asking. No, she's fine. It's not that. I think she was helping a friend tonight who was dealing with something. So that's all I can tell you. It's not, anything I can share with you, but yeah, everything's fine. So it's nothing to concern yourself in that way. But sometimes life just happens and gets in the way of our schedules. That's what's happening tonight for sure. We got a little bit of show left, so I want to fill it with as much goodness as I possibly can. And we've been currently going through an article from the occultmuseum.com that's dealing with paranormal events that firefighters have experienced. And we're on number 7 of 14, so let's get back to that and see where that leaves us. Because, the show's just like, boom, it's over. Almost, anyway. It goes quick, folks. It goes quick. Number 7 on this list from the Occult Museum. Great site, by the way. If you get a chance, check out this site. They've got so many different articles about not only paranormal stuff, but just a lot of weirdness and strange real life, real crime, true crime kind of stuff, etc. There's so much here. So definitely come and support the site if you can. Again, that's the occultmuseum.com. Number 7 on their list here. I worked for a department that had lost a few members in its time, and over the course in the first few months I was there, I noticed strange noises in the bay. Once I walked in the front door, only to hear the back door slam. I walked back to see who it was, and when I opened the back door, nobody was there. There was fresh snow on the ground and no tracks. Another time I went to the bay in the middle of the night, I heard distinct footsteps walking around one of the rigs on the other side of the bay. I called out, but no one answered. I got spooked and crept around the bay with an axe trying to find the intruder. No one there. I also got a really spooky feeling a few times when I was alone in the bay by the back door. Later, I happened to mention to the chief that I had heard some weird stuff in the station at night, and he got a strange look on his face and said, "Let me guess, footsteps behind engine 3 and a creepy feeling by the back door." I got the same story from one of the captains about hearing footsteps and all that. Guess someone's still hanging around. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. You got to wonder, I guess if that's something you loved in your life, then maybe that's where you would linger if there was a place you were lingering. That makes sense. But number 8, the station in the woods. Back in my old department, before I moved into my current one, I was assigned to the further southern station by myself with a single engine. The area was in a heavily wooded area of the district. At night, it got extremely dark in that area, more so than the other areas of the district. And there were a lot of one-lane dirt and paved roads, as well as a few meth labs, and no police coverage. Oof. I had several occasions that I would hear dogs barking at a house near the station and hear sounds outside the station like thumping noises, usually after 1 a.m. I'd go outside to look and nobody would be there. The noises went on for about a week. Once I had a friend from another station come down to visit me, but I was gone. He got scared off when he heard 5 loud bangs on the wall near the kitchen. Of course, he failed to tell me this. Another night, I was in bed and saw a shadow outside of my window walking in the flower bed. The shadow passed my window, and then the person kicked the door near the bay. I crawled out of bed, called 911, and while I was on the phone, the person busted out the bedroom window. Half scared, I ran to the engine and bailed north to another station with a higher staffing level. The PD responded, and 45 minutes later, searching and deemed the station safe. I soon after moved from that station and is no longer staffed even now, 3 years later. I found out from a B/C, I don't know what that one means, later on it says Pervious, FF had been attacked in the parking lot washing an engine, and that the station had several other weird occurrences happen since it was built. Yeesh, I don't know where though. It didn't say where, did it? Yeah, they don't really say where these things are happening, but it sounds like that could be on Bray Road, for God's sakes. Number 9, the hose tower hanging. I too have heard of the strange noises that occur inside many of our firehouses. We have a firehouse that late at night you can hear chains rattling at the top of the hose tower. When you turn on the light and climb the ladder to the platform at the top of the tower, nothing is there. The rumor has it that back in the 50s, a probationer hung himself in the hose tower, and wasn't discovered for a week. Oh, God, that would be horrible. God, what's that smell? You guys smell that? Oh. Ugh, that's just creepy. Oof. All right, number 10, the old captain. The oldest station in Lex, Kentucky, is haunted, according to some of the old heads, by an old captain who died while on duty in his sleep on Christmas Eve in the 1940s. He is said to have sat in an old cane-bottom rocking chair. That chair was put in the attic of the station after his death, where it's still heard to be rocking on occasion. Oof. Chiefs have gotten calls from neighbors who were mad because they could see a fireman looking out of the upstairs window, but no one would answer the door. This usually happens when the engine company was out on a fire run or training. Engine started by itself and backed into the wall one night, standard transmission. Some of the guys who have worked there would not even go in the house alone on payday to pick up their paychecks if the commander was out. It's like, nope. Oh, dear God. Here's a Ouija board story in here. Can't wait to see what happened here or how that relates to a fire department. But it says the Ouija board. A fire company that I used to belong to is quartered in a building built in the 1930s, and it is unquestionably haunted. Odd things happen regularly, such as bathroom stall doors being locked from the inside, TV and lights turning on and off, footsteps across the floor, yelling when nobody else is there, etc. A few members decided to bring in a Ouija board one night. Oh no, and see what they could find. It turns out there are 2 ghosts. One is a past chief, and the other is a small boy that used to live in a row of miners' houses that has long since been torn down. The chief confirmed his identity by naming other long-dead members, so long dead that we had to dig back 50 years in the company records to find their names. The chief generally drags chairs around the meeting room at night and yells at members while the boy is constantly bouncing his ball on the upstairs floor. All of this only happens at night. It's like, why? Why do they only do this stuff at night? I don't know. I will tell you this, just as a side thought. We've had several paranormal investigator guests on the show over the years, and one guest that we had is Lisa Martin. And her group is Paranormal Science Lab on Facebook, and it's a wonderful group, and their group is very methodical and very much using the scientific method in their approaches and such. So it's not just, I feel creepy in here, I'm getting the chills, there must be something there. They're bringing, measurements, they're taking measurements, they're doing things like atmospherics and all of that. But she said that at one time they were using UV light a lot. And of course, you see that used a lot with full spectrum cameras and stuff. And some interesting stuff has been caught on UV light with photographs and stuff. But there apparently was something coming up, and I don't remember the context exactly. But what she did, they were doing an EVP session, and she said, "Do you like the light?" Because they were using a UV light. And she got an EVP, and it was very clear. It says, "It burns." So now I've heard that in conjunction with other phenomena as well. And maybe it's the dark spirit kind of stuff. I don't know. But of course, UV light is also present during the daytime, but not so much at night. And so it makes you wonder if the activity is a different kind of being at night versus the kind of activities that may happen in the day. Is there something with the light, the UV light, that is irritating to some of these spiritual beings. And I'm not going to say ghosts, because I don't believe that that's the case, being formerly human, that they would have a problem with UV light or not. But maybe other things do. Maybe shadow people do. Maybe any number of them could have problems with it that were never human. And so maybe there is something to that. But I found that was interesting that you said it burns. I don't know. Is that just a chance? Is that just a chance EVP? Or could there be something to that? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. But you got to be the judge. It's all these breadcrumbs, I guess, about the paranormal that makes it really tough to piece together the whole picture. But all we can do is keep looking, keep journeying deeper and deeper and see what we find. Number 12, the Indian arrowheads. And this is my father's volunteer fire company also found Indian arrowheads while they were digging for an addition to the firehouse back in the 50s. But they also unearthed cannonballs and buttons. If my memory is right, some experts said that the cannonballs were from the American Revolution and that the buttons were from Hessian soldier. Hessians were mercenaries that the British used against Washington's army. But strange things began happening while those items the firemen dug up were in the firehouse. First off, anyone that touched the items got very ill with high fevers and a rash. The guys that actually dug them up, these items, were very bad off, and their feet became swollen and turned black and blue. The door to the firehouse would also swing open just as someone approached, and the doors to the huge cast iron firehouse oven would open and close all by itself. Someone in the company said that they should bury the items, put them back in the ground, and when they did, everyone got better, and all the strange things stopped happening. So is it some form of a curse? Were those items cursed? And again, I know Western sensibilities, we think, oh, come on, curses, really? But energy follows intention. And is it possible to take an item and say, if somebody digs you up, if somebody holds you, takes you, that bad things will come to them? I don't know. I believe in that stuff. I really think it's possible. I also believe it's possible to protect yourself from that kind of stuff. But I think there is something to that, folks, that maybe things can be cursed. Maybe you can bring something negative into your world just by having it in your possession. Number 13, the fortune teller. The firehouse has had a run of strange happenings over the years also. Many of us have actually seen a misty figure move through the rec room and out to the apparatus room. Some of the crews have seen the figure together. Seen the figure together. Like, what does that mean? All the crews together or individually or what? I don't know. Others have seen him when they were by themselves. Okay. The usual doors swinging, chairs moving upstairs, people walking across the floor or up and down the stairs happens occasionally. The really scary part was when a friend of mine stopped by the firehouse with her kids for a tour. This woman practices tarot card readings, fortune telling, and the like. She had never been in the firehouse before and had never known about any of the instances in the firehouse. After the tour, she asked me if the firehouse had guest appearances often. I thought she meant the kids and said that we often have children take tours of the place. She corrected herself and asked if we had ever seen ghosts. I said, maybe, I'm not sure. She described our misty figure from head to toe exactly as he appears and said that she had seen him. Do I believe? Probably not much more than I had before that day, but I don't doubt anything. Well, there's no doubt that some people are tuned into this stuff very, very much, and I don't know. I believe. Number 14. And this is the last story of this article, so we'll have about 10 minutes left after the end of this, so we'll have to find something to do to bide the time, right? This story takes place in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and the department I used to work for there. When I was assigned to Engine 2, I had heard all kinds of stories of it being haunted. Footsteps, doors opening, writing on the wall, and even a sighting are all the things that I was told about. I heard some things once in a while, but the one time I was really spooked happened in late 2000. I was lying in bed about 2 a.m. when I heard footsteps approach my bunk and stop behind me. Between my bed and the wall, the first thing I thought was that I had slept through a call, but when I saw that my LT was still asleep and I noticed the radio was quiet, I could feel someone standing beside the bed, and as much as I didn't want to, I slowly turned and looked to find that there was no one there. Oof. That's pretty creepy. So there you have it, folks. Those are some events from firefighters. It's amazing how many firehouses are allegedly haunted. But then again, how many firefighters lose their lives? And it's a very, very dangerous career. It's a very dangerous profession. I mean, these people go in to these horrible blazes trying to save people and to put out fires, and they're in the worst kind of danger possible, from possible explosions, collapsings, just the temperature from smoke inhalation, any number of things. And my hat's off to these guys, because they what they do is double tough. I mean, really, really tough stuff. And so I guess, if you love what you do, and most of them do, I could see them wanting to stick around and be there for their team members. It doesn't surprise me a whole lot. There's a lot of camaraderie in fire departments. I know that. That's the one profession I don't think I know anybody currently that's a fireman or firefighter, fire person. I know several people in law enforcement. I know several people in corrections. I know several people in the medical field, but I don't know any firemen or women, for that matter. Fire people. I don't know what the proper term is. I'm not the most well versed person, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Sure enough. How about we look at some BFRO reports? So anybody out there, you want to give me a state, and we'll look at see if there's some Class A Bigfoot reports coming from a state. Give me a state in the U.S. Now I have to wait for the leg, because we only got 8 minutes left. Paranoid state. No, that's not one they have here. They don't have paranoid state. Florida. Let's look at Florida. That was the first one from Aggravated. Who said that? Aggravated said it, I think. Let's see. Yeah, let me remember my. There it is, Florida. Trying to remember my alphabet. I'm just looking at the counties with the most stuff. Looks like Collier County or Collier County, however you pronounce it, has 21 incidences recorded. I'm going to look at that. November of 2012 is the most recent Class A. So let's look at that. All right. And this is coming from Collier County. And this is Florida. Season was winter, the month of November, the date of the 4th. State of Florida, Collier County, about 20 miles west of Broward County. Everglades west of Broward County. Yeah, it sounds like skunk ape territory. It's very short, but it says, I was out in the Everglades target shooting when I heard something making a lot of noise behind me while I was reloading. When I turned around, I saw a bipedal ape-like thing looking from behind a tree. I glared at it for a few seconds, and I started running off. It scared the hell out of me. As I got to my car, I saw the thing running behind the trees away from me, and then I left in a hurry. Also noticed nothing that I'm aware of. I was alone target practicing, and there's been many sightings of this. Daytime, clear and sunny, swamp near a stream. Huh. Nothing too over the top, but the tree peeking is definitely a normal behavior for Bigfoot. They love to keep barriers between us and them. They don't like to be just exposed. All right, that was Collier County. Did we get another state? Missouri. I see Missouri. Let's check out Missouri. Or Missouri. Some people call it Missouri, but I call it Missouri, because if it was Missouri, why didn't they end it with an A? Just saying. No reason to overcomplicate these things. Let's see. Why am I... Oh, I'm still in the counties. Oops. Yeah, that's why I'm not finding Missouri. Missouri. Let's see what we got here. God, there's 165 reports in Missouri. Michigan has 224. Oof. Let's see what jumps out here. There's lots of single-digit reports, but is there any one area that has a lot of them? No, it looks like all single-digit on the BFRO anyway. But I saw 1.7. Okay. We'll go to that. 1.7. There it is, Taney County. Let's see what's going on there if they've got some Class A. Fall of 2012, again, 2012. Excuse me, a little froggy. And again, Class A is like sighting, to see a sighting. Class B's, I think, are like sounds or knocks. Class C might be just footprints or that kind of thing. But anyway, the year was 2012, fall, state of Missouri. Taney County, take Highway 248 north out of Branson, approximately 3 to 4 miles. Nearest town is Branson. Nearest road is Highway 248. It says, I was driving to work on the Highway 248 north of Branson, Missouri. Traveling south on the road, I came around a corner and was a good distance from the vehicle in front of me. Approximately 200 yards or so, and a Bigfoot crossed the road between us. It was early morning, so it was still dark, and I saw it in the headlights of my Jeep. It crossed the road from left to right in front of me in maybe 3 or 4 steps. It was taller than the truck that was in front of me. And later, as I caught up to the truck, I found out that was a full-size Chevy 1500. The Bigfoot was upright on 2 legs and was brownish, grayish in color, brownish-grayish in color. It disappeared off the right side of the road, up a hill, into the brush. There were no other known witnesses. It was early morning, 5:30 to 6 a.m. It was still dark. Deep ravine on the left side of the road, forested area. Huh. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. Why would they do that? They certainly could just wait. I mean, these are intelligent creatures. They could just wait. They can hear cars, I'm sure, miles off, so they know it's coming. But why do they take that opportunity to have to cross the road? Like, I think it's got to be intentional. Like, they want to be seen. Like, maybe they know how much it freaks out people, and they just want to get a rise out of people. I don't know, but it's no accident that they do this. It's not just like deer freak out. They're like, I'm just going. They just freak. Other animals do the same thing. But these things know. They watch cars come and go all the time. But they do it intentionally. They have to. There's no way that's an accident. But very interesting stuff. So we've closed it with a little BFRO tonight. I think that's kind of fun. I love visiting those reports. Now, tomorrow night on the show, we've got an author joining us. His name is George Lunsford, and he's written several paranormal books about different regions of the nation. So we're going to have him on tomorrow night, and he's going to be here for the full 2 hours. I'm going to talk to him about his books, about the different phenomena around that he's talked about. Let me just pull this up a second. I just got to do this so I make sure I get the names right. But his name is George Lunsford. There it is. In books. And his books are Legends, Myths, Monsters, and Ghosts. And he does them for the Southern USA edition, Northern USA edition, the West edition, and the East edition. And his books are all available on Amazon.com. But we're going to have him on the show tomorrow to talk about the craziness that he's seen and worked on for his books. I'm sure he's got a whole host of stories to share, and it'll be really fun to have him on the show. So that'll be tomorrow night, folks. And so I hope you'll join us. Sheldon and I will be here, and we can certainly get into it then, but it's going to be a good one. And this is George's first appearance on the show, so I'm really excited to see what he's got to say. But, I was going to look at the time too. I did want to say, where is it? There it is. Okay. We're down to a minute. Wow. Time just flew. But anyway, that's tomorrow night. George Lunsford again joining us here on the show. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a lot of fun to talk to people that have a whole bunch of information to work with. And especially if he's researched the entire U.S., all these different regions, This guy should be a blast. And it'll be great to talk to him. So that's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on our channel. So those of you on YouTube won't have to go far. Those of you on TFR, just tune in tomorrow night, and we'll get into that. And so much more. So that'll be tomorrow night. And then, of course, Sunday night is the Night Terrors, the 1 hour show. Please remember to check out the Paranormal Portal Pieces, if you would. That's our new YouTube channel, taking our 2 hour episodes and making 15-minute videos from them. So help to spread the word. But again, Paranormal Portal Pieces on YouTube. Get subscribed. Ring the bells. All right, guys. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate.